Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? We hope that you're well. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, there is an ongoing fuel crisis or fuel challenge in South Africa. About a week ago, uh, as far as we can tell, I don't think anybody knows exactly, or it's not being published. Of course, the engineers and so on know. But we're not seeing any commentators or observers talking about the exact date, but about a week ago, there was some or other problem with the pipeline that sends, or one of the pipelines that sends fuel from Durban up to the Highveld. And I've heard that there was an explosion. I've heard that somebody tried to rob the pipeline, that is to say, drill a hole in it and siphon or tap fuel out of it, whether it was diesel or petrol. I couldn't tell you. For all I know, it might have been paraffin. We uh, Good fine details on that are hard to come by. Then 2 days ago, there was a large explosion at the Caltex refinery in Milnerton in Cape Town. And these two events have come on the heels of an ongoing fuel shortage, not a crisis. I shouldn't have used the word crisis at the beginning of this video. A fuel shortage, an intermittent, sporadic fuel shortage in South Africa. And many of you will know that my group, my group was the first to feature an authoritative warning about this 2 months ago. Later on, it became a bit of a problem that the echo became the voice. Imagine if you were standing in an echo chamber and you yelled something, you yelled, fire! And in the echo chamber, somebody standing with you heard, fire, 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 fire. And they turned to you and said, oh, there must be a fire. It's been said 50 times. But of course, that's false. It was only said once. But that thing that I posted ended up doing the rounds like wildfire. Therefore, we had to rein people in and say to them, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Stop repeating the same thing over and over and over again. The echo is becoming the voice. Slow down a little bit. This is not the end of the world. We went to petrol stations and to fuel stations and diesel depots and so on. We did lots of all sorts of reconnaissance to ascertain for ourselves. And yes, there was a bit of a shortage here and there, some of the time. Not everywhere, all of the time. And it was a bit of a shortage, not an absolute shortage. And so this thing is dragged on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And at times it has seemed worse, and at times it has seemed not quite so bad. But the events of the past few days, of this past week, are now providing cause for concern. This is a warning. Now, Suidlanders is issuing a warning, that is to say, Suidlanders leadership is issuing a warning to Suidlanders members that there may be an incipient, incipient means beginning, a starting, a beginning, an emerging fuel crisis. Not a minor shortage, but a crisis. We don't know. We don't know how rapidly they will be able to repair the pipeline from Durban to the Highveld. We don't know the severity of the impact of the explosions at Caltex refinery in Milnerton upon their production. It may have been an enormous explosion, but of something that doesn't hamper the production all that much. Or it may have been an enormous explosion, but only on one of, say, 4 production lines. We don't know. But given that these 2 events have come hot on the heels of what was already a minor problem, we are now issuing a warning that it could be the case that we are entering a period of genuine fuel shortages, of the real thing, of a thing that actually impacts you, of something that you can't merely circumvent by driving another 10 kilometers to a petrol station that does have diesel or petrol or whatever, a fuel station that does have diesel or petrol, as you have been able to do for the past 8 or 7 weeks. So far, this thing hasn't really impeded social and economic activity in South Africa. The hitherto intermittent and sporadic minor fuel shortages have not really impacted your and my ability to go about our business and our social lives. But we may be entering a period in which that is the case. So we urge you, take what precautions you can do. If you are able to fill up your tanks, do it. If you're able to buy some spare fuel, do it. I know of one group of people, Saitlanders, what they've done is they've clubbed in, almost like a Stokvel type thing. I spoke about this the other day. And I think it's 4 people, I'm not sure. Bought one of those 1 cubic meter plastic containers, plastic drums, you know, the big ones. They take 1,000 liters. You can get bigger ones, of course, but there's kind of a standard one that's a meter by a meter by a meter. And very often it will have a light aluminium frame around it. You know the ones I'm talking about. You can store anything in them. I'd like to store barley. It's just my own thing. We can get onto it on another occasion. A ton of barley in such a thing. But there's a group of Saitlanders, I think 4 of them, who went 4 ways. So they spent something like, I think it cost them 15 grand, including the container. I can't remember the price of diesel at that time, but it was 15 grand or less. And so it cost each of them, I suppose, not quite 4,000 rand. I don't know. I don't know what your means are. I don't know what you can do, what you can't do. Maybe in your case, if you don't have the opportunity to buy more, drive less for now, if you can. Nonetheless, that is our formal warning that we warn you that it may be that there is an emerging fuel crisis in South Africa, and it may be advisable to get ahead of the curve. All right, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we wish you the best for this difficult period. Okie dokie. Thank you. Bye-bye.